Welcome student. Today we study the stem which is also consist on different parts which are grow above the soil surface into the air or sunlight. The stem, initially we study the definition of stem. What is stem? The definition is the stem is ascending organ of plant and it is directly prolongation of the plumule. It is known as a stem. It normally bears leaves, branches, flowers, and when it is young, that time it is green in color. It is the growing apex. Growing apex of stem is covered over and protected by the number of tiny leaves. The stem is bears multicellular hairs of different kinds. It provides with nodes and internodes which may not be distinct in all cases. So we study the definition. It is important. Then we study the different parts of stem. Different parts of stem. Number one, that is the shoot system. The entire stem with all its branches, leaves and other parts constitute the shoot system. Stems usually grow above the soil and they are termed as aerial stems or aerial shoots. Sometimes stem may be remain underground, which is known as underground stem. Then the second part of stem is the nodes and internodes. The place on the stem or branch where one or more leaves are arise, known as a node, and the space between two successive nodes is called as an internode. Then the next part, third one, is the buds. The bud is a young, undeveloped shoot, consists a short stem, and it is a member of tender leaves. Form over growing apex. In the bud, the internode have not developed and leaves remain closely crowded together, forming a compact structure negatively. The leaves of bud are older and larger than higher up, so that there are different kinds of buds are available on the stem or it is formed. Number one, the vegetative bud. These buds are grow to form only leafy shoot. Number second, floral buds. These buds are grow to form flowers. Number third one is the mixed bud. These buds are produce both vegetative and productive growth or floral branches. Then the apical bud, it is born or it is formed at the apex of main stem and it is also called as a terminal bud. Then the auxiliary bud, it is occur in the axils of leaves, that is the sunflower and rose. Then we study the characters of stem. There are different characters. It should be also asked for our 2 mark in our question paper. Give the characters of stem or then we write down any 5 to 6 characters of stem. We study the initially in definition, it is the growing apex of stem or ascending part of plant which is directly prolongation from the plumule. and it grows in air or sunlight. So we now study the characters of stem. There are following characters of stem. Number one, that is it is growing apex of stem bears terminal bud or growth in length, that is it make a height of plant or height of stem. Then the stem is ascending axis of plant which is developed from the plumule. Number third one is it is generally erect and grow away from the soil towards the light. Therefore, it is negatively geotrophic and negatively hydrotrophic and positively phototrophic. So, it is the character. Then it bears nodes and internodes. Next one is the branches and leaves are appeared on the stem as exogenously. Then it may be bear multicellular hairs on the external surface. Then in mature plant, stem and its branches bear the flower, fruits and then seeds. The stem is normally bear both vegetative and floral buds for vegetative growth and reproductive growth respectively. Then the shoot system or stem is also heterogeneous system that it bears flower and fruits. So it is known as a heterogeneous system. So these are the major characters of stem. It also ascending part of the stem. Number next, it is green in color. So these are the main characters of stem. You should study or carefully that. Then we study the functions of stem. There are different functions of stem, that is the bearing of leaves and flowers, conduction, number third support to the plant, number next storage of food material, and then the next one is the food manufacturer. These are the functions of stem. We should explain each in details. Number one, that is the bearing of leaves and flowers. The stem and branches bear the leaves and flowers. The leaves are get to adequate amount of sunlight for manufacture of food, and flowers to attract the insect from the distance for the pollination and reproduction of the plant. So these are the main function of stem. Then the conduction. Second function is the conduction. The stem conduct the water and minerals, that is the nutrients, that also known as the nutrients, from the root to the leaf, and prepared food material from the leaf to the different parts of plant body. Particularly it is stored or it is storage organ and growing regions. So the conduction of food material and water, that is the soluble salt, these are also carried or conduct by the stem, and it make a strong as a plant. Then the support that it is the main stem or main function. The main stem act as a sort of pillar to supporting the branches which spread out in different direction to push forward the leaves and flowers. So it gives support and make a balance of plant that is not bent, that is remain erect. So this is the main function that the gives the support to the plant for its proper development during the life cycle. Then the next fourth one is the storage. Storage is the main function of stem. The stem also serve as a storehouse of food material. This is particularly in case of underground modified stem appeared or found in that plant. It play an important role to storage the food material specially, and the stems are modified under the soil, and it is also underground stem or shoot system, and it store the food material. For example, ginger, potato, onion, these are the examples of storage of food material into the stem. Then the food manufacturer, the young shoot, when it is green in color, it manufacture the food material in the presence of sunlight and make a photosynthesis process, and that time chloroplast contain it, and it provide the or manufacture the energy or food material, and which is provide for the further growth of plant or stem. So these are the mainly functions of stem. So last one, we also enlist the functions of stem, that is the number one, bearing of leaves and flowers, number second, conduction, number third one is the gives support to the plant, number fourth one is the storage organ, then the manufacturing of food. So these are the five functions of the stem. Then we study the modification of stem. Modification of stem, underground modification of stem, number second, aerial modification of stem. In this way, stems are also modified, and subaerial modification of stem. So initially we study the modification of stem. What is the definition of modification of stem? The stems during its growth, some stems are modified in different to perform their different functions, so that the which changes are done into the stem, that is known as a modified or modification in stem. So we study number one, underground modification of stem. The stem are thick, fleshy, and have a heavy deposit of reserve of food material in stem. They develop the underground, and it is looks like as a root, but it is not root. It bears nodes, internodes, scale leaves, buds, that is the auxiliary bud, and terminal bud. So these are looks like as a root, but it is not root, it is the modification of stem. Number one, we study the rhizome. The rhizomes are the thick underground stem provided with nodes, internodes, and scale leaves. At the node, a bud is formed in the axils of each leaf. Leaves are as scale leaves. So, some slender adventitious roots are given off from its lower side, and it may be branches or it may not be grow the branches. Sometimes it bear branches or sometimes it is not bear the branches. So for example, ginger, turmeric and ferns are the perfect example of rhizomes. Then the tuber. The tubers are, it is the solan end and a special underground branch. It arises from the axils of lower leaf. It grows horizontally outward and ultimately swells up at the apex due to accumulation of large quantity of food. For example, potato. The tubers of potatoes are the example of modification of stem in tuber. Number third one is the bulbs. It is the single and large terminal bud consist and slightly conical stem is appeared. Terminal bud and numerous scale leaves are also found within clusters of fibrous root are appear or form at the base of node. For example, onion, garlic, lilies, flower plant. These are the examples of the bulb modification of stem in bulbs. Then we study the corn. That is the it is the condensed from the rhizome and consists of short, that is the strong, solid, fleshy underground stems growing vertically direction, and it is the less or more rounded in shape. For example, gladiolus flower plant produce the corn, that is the underground stem system. So that student, remaining subaerial modification and aerial modification of stem we study in our next video. Thank you student.